Welcome back to Theresa's Dad. My name is Theresa and I'm very much alive. I have an awful garbage filthy mouth, so viewer discretion is advised. But if you're not into that or weird shit in general, this is definitely not the place for you. Feel free to X out the video here, no harm, no foul, but I'll remember our time fondly. Oh, hello my little darlings. Honestly, I really love doing these videos. Why? Because I love buying things for science. I love wasting my money so you don't have to. Some say I do the Lord's work, and for that, you're welcome. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing a chunk, or a chunk if you will, of the Jaclyn Cosmetics Luxury Luxe collection, which honestly, I think the best part about the collection is just saying the name, because it just makes me feel like I'm on a game show. Anywhoosies, in today's video, we're going to talk about the palette, some eyeliners, the powder, as well as the setting spray. But before I get all Andy Rooney on y'all, a word from today's sponsor. Thank you so much to Blissy for sponsoring yet another one of my garbage videos. Today's episode of Talisha. Who is Talisha? Today's episode of Theresa and Talisha, being a delicious garbage person, is brought to you by Blissy. I love Blissy, and I'm so happy to be working with them again. Many people have been commenting on my skin and hair, and a lot of people have been saying, wow, is that Florida? And while yes, that's kind of true, I have to thank Blissy for being one of the contributing factors for me turning into a garbage swan, if you will. If you have never heard of Blissy, they offer silk pillowcases that give you better hair, better skin, better sleep, and just a better you. But in addition to pillowcases, they also offer silk hair ties as well as sleep masks. And I noticed that they also have loungewear too. It's unfortunate that it's not plus size, so I'm hoping that in the future they'll make it plus size, because the thought of wrapping this material around my body, I will literally rule the world if that happens. Actually, if I can outfit my whole house in this silk, I'm also open to that. Blissy, we can talk. Anyway, I think my favorite product though, well, besides the hair ties, are these pillowcases. And I have 3 of them. I have black, plum, and white, but I need more. Why, you ask? Listen, I'm the person that sleeps with 6 pillows. Yes, I'm the person that creates a pillow fortress when I go to bed. So before you start judging me, okay, try it for yourself, it's amazing. As someone who runs warm, let me tell you, I know I said this last time, but this pillowcase gives you a nice cool hug. Oh my God, I love it. Blissy puts me at ease because it acts as a thermal regulator, and it keeps me cool, calm, and collected. Blissy silk is 100% mulberry silk that meets Oeko-Tex guidelines, meaning no toxic chemicals or dyes are used in their products, and most importantly, they're hypoallergenic. Unlike boring cotton, silk allows your skin to retain more moisture and not dry you out. And the silk also reduces hair breakage, which is excellent as you rest your head on this lovely pillow. And of course, you can keep that feeling going when you get their hair ties. See, full circle moment. What I love about the hair ties is one that it does reduce breakage, but it also doesn't feel tight on the top of my head. It feels so good in my hair. From the packaging to the actual product, the whole experience just feels incredibly luxurious. And again, these make for a very, very beautiful gift. I know I mentioned this last time, but I think this would make for a great Mother's Day gift, being that it is around the corner, and my mom is actually going to be getting these. It's funny because my mom's birthday falls right around Mother's Day, and since I'm not in New York to celebrate her birthday this year, she's going to be going to Maine's. So as a gift, I'm taking care of her hotel stay, and I purchased a few of these pillowcases to take along with her, because like mother like daughter, we both travel with our pillows because we just don't deal with hotel pillows. Call me bougie, but if you know, you know. So join me on the other side of comfort, because once you try it, you will never go back. Go to blissy.com/Theresa or just click the link below and you'll get an additional 30% off your order and free worldwide shipping. So go on and get your energy back. Sleep better and improve your hair and skin with Blissy silk pillowcases. That's BLISSY/Theresa or just click the link below. Code is automatically applied at checkout to get an additional 30% off. So thank you Blissy for sponsoring my garbage antics. Y'all go support the sponsors that support your garbage queen. Okay, we have lots to talk about, so we might as well just dive into the palette first. The Dear Mom eyeshadow palette retails for $49. Beauty is an art and a legacy, which is why Jaclyn Hill and her mom Robin have teamed up to pass down their beauty knowledge to you in this Wear Everywhere palette, available in a special limited edition packaging to commemorate their relationship in the most them way ever. The formula glides on like butter, and you get the high pigment coverage in one stroke, matte satin and sparkle finishes with powder rubies to illuminate skin and visibly brighten for a silky, lustrous finish you'll never get enough of. Okay, so a few things. First, I'm not entirely sure why this brand would release their first eyeshadow palette as a collaboration. A limited edition collaboration at that. That is weird. This is fucking weird. And listen, as a mama's girl, like a straight up mama's girl, I respect the love that was put into this collaboration. I love the concept, but at the same time, I don't want someone else's mom on the fucking packaging or other mothers. I don't want this. I don't want this. Even my mom would be like, who the fuck are these people? Exactly. Personally, I just don't think the whole concept, like, yes, I love it, but like, I just don't think this is really cute. It kind of makes me think of the Aspen Overhead palette, right, with Tarte. I think that was technically geared towards like a Mother's Day release. Yeah, no, it was, because it was available on Mother's Day at Ulta, and it was this whole big thing. I remember in the Ulta magazine, it was like Aspen and her mom, but like the palette had nothing to do with both Aspen or the mom, right? It was just like a fucking straight up palette. And I kind of wish that was the same case here. Now, keep in mind, the special edition only exists on the Jaclyn Cosmetics website. If you were to purchase this in Ulta, you would just get the standard Jaclyn packaging, which in hindsight, probably should have fucking done that, but whatever. But yeah, I'm not a fan of like when brand owners, or just makes me think also like the KKW shit where it was like me and my best friend release. Like, I don't care. I feel like it's the same level of psychotic when you go to someone's house and you realize all the people in the picture frames are the people that came with the picture frames. Listen, baby, you're never getting out of that house alive, okay? Godspeed, Julie. But yeah, no, I don't like this. Not a fan of this. Like I said, I should have just probably gone to Ulta and just got like the standard packaging, because I don't think this really adds to anything. Thankfully, it's not on the palette, but you do see them inside the palette. I don't know, I kind of feel like this is like a 7th grade burn book in a weird way. It's strange. And I guess, you know, for a $50 eyeshadow palette, it's just like, nah. It's just not for me, fam. But that didn't stop me. I hear you saying like, well, why you keep bitching about it? That didn't stop me, did it? It didn't, Stephanie. Because you know why? I got this because this is a fucking basic ass bitch palette that just looks so beautifully boring and somehow familiar all at the same time. So in this 20 pan color story, you have 14 mattes, 4 shimmers, and 2 metallics. So let's break it down by formula. I'm gonna start with the mattes, and I'm gonna put the palette down because this bitch is huge. They're fucking good. The mattes are really fucking good. I know I talked a lot of shit about the outside packaging, whatever. The mattes are fabulous. And I'm surprised with how much I like it. But I kind of feel like this furthers my theory and allow me to put my tinfoil hat on, if you will. But I think when this brand comes out with limited edition shit, it thrives. When it's a regular piece, part of their collection, it's terrible. So I find that really, really interesting. Some of the mattes are pigmented upon initial application, and some do require to be built up. Personally, I don't mind going back and forth to build up opacity. Sometimes it's nice to get a wham bam thank you ma'am, but sometimes I just want to control the intensity. Now, I didn't experience any issues with application, muddiness, or longevity. The shadows blended beautifully on the lid, and I just didn't have any sort of fucking issues. Like, the mattes are where it's at. They're silky, they're buttery, they're smooth. Even the lightest shades actually show up on my uncooked chicken ass, and they really do make for a beautiful inner corner highlight. There is a lot of dimension in this palette, and I feel like nothing gets overshadowed. Sometimes what happens is when you start blending, it can kind of turn into one big fucking shade. I don't experience that at all with this palette. I didn't experience any intense fallout, but I will say some of the darker shades, like Because I Said So, for example, that one did have a little bit of fallout. Not the easiest to clean, but you know, it's very minimal. Again, I kind of can't get over how creamy they are in texture, and they just feel really good on the eyelid. And I just love how incredibly easy they are to work with. And I also like the fact that there are more mattes than there are shimmers. I love creating a lot of all matte looks with this palette because it's simple, it's straightforward, and it always just looks so effortless. In regarding tones, I love that I kind of get the best of both worlds. I don't feel like this is an overly warm palette, and the cooler tones kind of doesn't wash me out and make me look like I'm dead. So that's great too. But I think my favorite matte though, I mean all of them are fucking good, but my favorite matte though is Moo, because that is just a really good olive green. Honestly, I don't have a bad thing to say about the mattes at all. They are fucking perfection. And I can only hope that when this brand does launch, I guess their first official eyeshadow palette, that they kind of continue with this formula because it's really fucking good. Now the remainder of the palette is like shimmers. So like I mentioned, 2 of them are metallics. The rest of them are just like run-of-the-mill kind of like shimmery satin shades. So we're gonna talk about the metallic ones first, and that's Thankful and Apple Pie. First of all, let's talk about Thankful. Bitch. Ugh, that was very deep. Fuck me up, okay? This is a great fucking silver. Now, I am always on the quest for that Tin Man Dick silver. And for me, the benchmark of the greatest silver of all time is from the Sephora Moschino Laptop Bear palette. I know, laugh at me, but seriously, that fucking silver, amazing. Since then, there has been so many fucking silvers to be released. However, I find that they're either too sparkly, where it's just kind of rogue glitter bukkake everywhere, or sometimes it looks a little bit too light and too white, and I'm like, no, that's not what I want. I want something that's like Tin Man Schlong. No mistake in that, baby. I'm gonna throw up some swatches in comparison because I kind of only really found this from indie brands. The closest one I have found to this particular palette is from Pariah Cosmetics. If you are looking for a good silver, you don't want to fucking buy the palette, I understand. And I'll definitely link it down in the description box. I believe it's like $7 or like $7.50 or whatever. It's good. It's fucking good. There's also a really good one from Divina. Divina though has a little bit more of like a purple undertone to it, so it's slightly different, but still Tin Man Dick worthy. That said, the shade Thankful, it's fucking good. It's really good. This is an excellent ultra metallic pigmented silver, and it's a welcome surprise in a sea of just boring bullshit. I applied this with glitter glue, and while yes, there is a small amount of fallout, it's not terrible. It applies evenly with one coat and has incredible fucking longevity. I didn't experience any flaking or any sort of like weird texture when using glitter glue. You can also get the same amount of payoff with a finger. It applies evenly in one coat, has great longevity. And again, I didn't have any issues with flaking. Like this bitch is here to stay. Apple Pie, on the other hand, not as good. It's okay. I think in comparison it sucks, but it's a good shadow. But I think in comparison to Thankful, I'm like, the fuck is this? This is not the same thing. This is not the same thing. The call's coming inside the house. I don't like it. It's definitely much more subtle. And yes, I know that this is like a mom palette, right? And moms traditionally don't like alien slut things. I get that. But I think when you have this really metallic silver, the hope is to have this really metallic gold, and it just was not there. It was kind of like a run-of-the-mill shimmer. I don't even understand why they would even call it metallic. I had no issues with application. It's just shitty next to Thankful. Now, the other shimmers in this palette, they're solid, but I would kind of consider them more of like a satin shimmer. They're definitely not a high sparkle or a high shine. I would say that they're definitely more on the satin side. Still very pretty, but traditionally not my favorite type of shimmer shadow. I applied the shimmers with glitter glue, and I definitely found that because of that, they were way more impactful when I used that or with saturation. If you use with a dry brush, they're just okay. However, what I do appreciate is that you can layer the shades and it's not going to turn into like one weird textury mess. They definitely blend very well together to create very beautiful gradients. So I appreciate that I can do that. So yeah, like these are really pretty. I definitely think they'll get the job done. If you're looking for something a little bit more subtle, it's weird. Like when I first played with this palette and I used the shade Thankful, I was fucking blown away. And I was expecting to have that same energy with the other shadows. And when it didn't, it just feels like a little bit let down. So in a way, I kind of feel like I tried the other shimmers first. So I could be like, oh, these are really nice. And then be like, oh my God, like what a welcome surprise of having this Thankful shade. I feel like it would have been a little less shitty than the other way around, if you know what I mean. But anyway, if you are someone that likes a subtle option, because at the end of the day, it really comes down to preference, this could be your shit. So when I purchased this collection, I purchased this straight from the Jaclyn website, and I believe they were running like a 10% off promotion. Instead of paying $49, I paid $44.10 for this palette. And I will say, fucking pleasantly surprised. I think this brand has more misses than it does hits, but when they do have a hit, it's fucking good. And I think what sold me on this palette are the mattes and how really fucking nice they are, and this goddamn beautiful silver. Also, the shade Tootsie, that's really fucking good too, and French Silk. And I do love that there's a shade called Meat and Potatoes. Oh God, I mean, honestly, when I think of meat and potatoes, I think of dick and balls, but I do love that there's some sort of representation of that in this palette that makes me chuckle. Everything else beyond this palette, it's fine. It's not shit your pants amazing, but it's solid. So I'm glad that that part of the palette that's like okay is a very small chunk, if you will, or chunk. So I'm happy to say that I really didn't have any issues with this palette. It's kind of just more of like a preference thing. My only critique that I have with this palette is that I wish the shimmers were just a little bit more show-stopping, I guess. When I think blinding, I think Jaclyn Hill, I think highlighter. And I think about the palette that came out in 2019 and how it's still a fucking staple in my collection. And I was hoping that the shimmers would kind of match that energy. And it was a pleasant surprise to find a really good metallic silver. It would have been even better to find a really good metallic gold. And I just wish it had the same energy. But again, I get that this palette is not necessarily Jaclyn. It's more of a reflection of Robin. So of course, we're not going to really get that, but I do hope in the future, when and if this brand does release palettes, that it has that really high shine alien slut energy that I'm looking for. Now, the palette's color story, it's not unique by any means at all. Like, we've all had this palette 20 times over. Kind of looks like Lorac and Busy Art had a baby. But what I will say is that the looks you can create will always be solid, will always be beautiful. And the fact that this palette is incredibly easy to work with and I can do my looks in like literally no time at all really kind of makes this palette worth checking out. I'm not mad at this purchase. I'm actually getting a lot of use out of this one, but I think the palette is worth it at a discount. Even at $44.10, I probably would have felt better at like say 35. I feel like 35 is better. You're not getting a mirror. The packaging is okay. So it's like, what am I paying for? I would say go to Ulta, use some points, use a 20% off discount, something of that nature, because this palette is worth checking out, but not at full price. So let's move on to the eyeliners. The inline eyeliner retails for $18. Keep your looks in line with Jaclyn Hill's inline eyeliner pencil. This ultra smooth formula glides on easily and is highly concentrated with pigment for a color pop of payoff. Lasts on the upper lash line for over 11 hours and 7 hours on the waterline. Eyes are on point. So the collection has 5 eyeliners, but I only picked up 2 because I don't trust eyeliners, especially eyeliners that have heavy fucking claims. I have very watery, sensitive eyes, so I'm very, very picky when it comes to eyeliners. And I feel like nothing but like maybe 4 brands really excite me. Everything else is kind of trash in my opinion. Now I typically stick with like gel pot eyeliners like from Lethal Cosmetics or Melt Cosmetics or Inglot. Like those are the ones I really, really love. However, when it comes to pencil eyeliners, Glossier Play was a really nice one, rest in peace. LA Girl is a very good drugstore option. Fenty is pretty good. ColourPop is okay depending on the color. M Cosmetics used to be great until they fucking discontinued their gel eyeliner. Bastards. Almay used to be good until they got all weird. Urban Decay, I think I have like maybe 1 or 2 that are okay. Same goes for Marc Jacobs, but I don't even think that brand exists anymore or whatever. The point is, I'm very fucking choosy and I'm a twat when it comes to eyeliners. So I picked the 2 colors that spoke to me, and that is the black brown one, smooth black brown, as well as the smooth charcoal. I like the packaging. I think they're very sleek. I do wish these were like a twist up eyeliner. I don't like the fact that they are a pencil. That's not my favorite, but like not the end of the world. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes when you sharpen them, depending on the sharpener, it can kind of fuck the pencil up. So it's like, I feel like it's more trouble than what it's worth sometimes. So I appreciate when it's a twist up. That said, these are okay-ish. They're better than I expected, but not amazing. Let's talk about the positives. For being a pencil, the formula doesn't feel too dry, it doesn't feel too wet. It's kind of like the Goldilocks here, right? It's kind of just right. I do find, well, yes, they do appear in the waterline. You kind of need to go back and forth to warm them up. And still then, this is still going to dissipate from my waterline, ultimately making me have to go back in for like the 10th fucking time. There is some lasting power on these, but not a lot. I think when it comes to the outer and inner corner, they disappear, I would say under an hour. But for the center of my waterline, they do last. Do they last up to 7 hours? No, I would say like maybe 5 at best. For me, that's pretty good because my eyes are that fucking watering, okay? That's why I really love Lethal Cosmetics or Melt Cosmetics, because I feel like it does fucking last. These, not so much. But the thing that really sucks about these eyeliners is that they do run. So they kind of bunch up a little bit in the outer corner, kind of just collecting there. So I constantly feel like I have to keep doing this just to kind of remove any product. Super fucking annoying. I want to mention all of this because not everyone is like me, right? I am just the fucking exception to the rule. When someone says I have a good eyeliner for you, oftentimes it just doesn't work for me because that's how sensitive my eyes are. But maybe you're not like me, so maybe you might get some use out of these. But if you are someone that has super sensitive watery eyes where a fucking strong wind comes, it's already gushing water down your face, I don't think these are for you. So yeah, I don't think they would be bad if you don't have any issues with your eyes. But again, if a small wind fucks you up, I say nay, friend, nay, these are not for you. Now the next product I want to talk about is the powder. The setting powder retails for $30. Make smooth moves with Jaclyn Hill's Powder Move Loose Setting Powder. Blur and smooths the appearance of skin while setting makeup with a soft focus finish and subtle radiance. Good for skin ingredients like squalene help lock in moisture, while a key amino acid and aloe deliver a silky feel with calming skin. Feel empowdered. That was a very weird copy. Okay. So I have picked up other powders from this brand in the past, and I would say for the most part, they never really worked for me with the exception of one powder. But at the same time, I don't like it for its intended use. So Jaclyn Cosmetics came out with like a brightening under eye powder, and I think for the under eyes, it was not good for me. It dried me out, made me look like I was a fucking 1,000 years old. I hated every second of it. But setting it as a face powder, kind of like. I think it's really pretty. And it's something that I actually repurchase. So as when I know I really like something, I have a lot of fucking makeup. But when I know I repurchase something skin very quickly after, that's when I know this is something that I want to take in the makeup graveyard with me. So I was hoping that this powder would be similar to that powder. Now the packaging is the same except that you do have the Jaclyn X Robin. So I think this also is going to be probably a limited edition release unless there's enough generated interest that it becomes a permanent product. So I applied this all over my face and I have some thoughts. Now I have very dry mummy skin dick. I don't like using too much powder because if I use too much powder it looks like I need to be dusted. Or at the very least be stuffed and mounted in a museum. I can tell if I like a powder depending on how it sits on my nose, much like foundation. If it clings and hangs onto dry patches, it's a no for me. And I'm happy to say that this does not emphasize any dry texture whatsoever, and it doesn't emphasize my pores at all. It really does a nice job at blurring the skin. That said, I applied it in two different ways. So yes, I did it all as a face powder. I also tried to use it for my under eyes. Initially, when I used it to set my concealer, I liked how it looked. It looked really pretty. Didn't sit in my fine lines, didn't emphasize any texture. The thing that I didn't like about it is that it looked and felt matte. Yes, this product claims there's some sort of radiance to it, but I didn't find that in this area. It just felt very flat. And I didn't like that. When I took a large powder brush and dusted it all over my face, that is when I noticed how lovely this product is. It does a great job of giving you that subtle glow from within feel without having unnecessary glitter bukkake all over your face. I get nervous when there's some sort of radiance to a powder because oftentimes it means there's just gonna be fucking sparkles everywhere, looking like you fucked a disco ball. But you don't get that with this powder. And it's probably because it's made in mind with Robin's skin, and since she's a mature woman, I'm glad that they didn't fucking pack this shit full of glitter. The powder is soft, it's smooth, it really does do a very nice job of blurring the pores. But I will say that a little bit does go a long way. If you do use too much powder, you can look a little bit too matte for my liking. And you look a little bit stagnant. So I feel like for me, I have to use a large fluffy powder brush. I can't stamp this product into the skin because it just leaves me looking a little bit too matte. And again, this is like a preference thing. People really love an all matte look. Not me. So for me to kind of like zhuzh up the radiance a little bit, after I'm done setting my face, I use my favorite setting spray right now, which is from Rare Beauty. And I think the combination of this powder and the Rare Beauty does a really nice job. But on its own, if I just leave it how it is, it's definitely a much more soft matte finish. I think this is probably a pleasant surprise between this and the palette. And I really do hope that this becomes like a permanent fixture in this collection. This is something that I would repurchase again. Also keep in mind, I do have the lightest shade, which is Sheer Fair. And I feel like it's a really, really good shade match for me. I've worn this powder for upwards to over 12 hours and I still looked really good at the end of the day. I didn't feel like it dried me out, didn't make me look dusty. I didn't feel like my skin felt tight. Everything was good. And again, I really love how it looks on my nose. It doesn't emphasize any dry texture. And over time, it never settled into any of my fine lines. It's really fucking good. So I think if you are interested, this is definitely worth checking out. Last but not least, let's talk about the setting spray. This retails for $28. Set it and forget it with Jaclyn Hill's All Set Setting Spray. This superfine facial mist primes, sets, conditions, and protects your look with a nourishing blend of lavender oil, coconut oil, seawater, peppermint oil, moringa oleifera seed extract for a natural finish. Keep your face looking fresh for longer in a few simple spritzes. Okay, so this product is interesting because there's coconut in it. And had I done my research, I probably wouldn't have picked this up. If you are new here, I don't know for sure, but I feel like I do have some sort of weird aversion when it comes to coconut products. When I find that it's in foundation or eyeshadows, usually I break out or I get some sort of weird irritation. No, I haven't gotten an allergy test. I'm in the process of trying to do that. So this is more of me playing doctor. And I find that the common denominator of anytime I have a breakout, there's always coconut in it. So when I find that there's no coconut in it, it's been pretty good. So I was using this for a little bit and then I had to stop. My face looks a little bit like beef carpaccio. I have a lot of like pimples right here and they're kind of painful and I put a lot of fucking concealer on them because I hate looking at them. Anyway, the packaging is really pretty. This is super cute. The pump's not bad. It's not my favorite, but it's not bad. I like when the sprayer is super fine. And while this one doesn't money shot me in the face, it definitely could be finer. The smell of this is kind of weird. Now, I don't have the best sense of smell, so for me, when I smell something, it kind of just evokes a memory, and that's how I describe smells. And it's funny because either things don't smell like anything, or they just kind of evoke this very weird feeling I had as a child, okay? Like, it's just very strange. This one does have a weird smell to it. Thankfully, it dissipates after a few seconds. If I had to describe the smell, it smells sad. It smells a little florally, but ultimately sad. Like I got stood up at prom and everyone's calling me Josie Grossy sad, okay? Like I don't like it. Now, when I did spray this on my face, I did get a slight tingle. And I assumed that, oh, it's the peppermint oil. Maybe that's the thing that's kind of giving me that spicy butthole feel to the face. But I also looked in the ingredients, there is alcohol in this. So I think maybe that's what's fucking me up. But I found that over time when I would wear this product, my face started to feel a little bit tight and kind of itchy, especially around this area. And at first I didn't know if this was the product that was causing me a lot of pain because I had been trying a lot of new makeup products, but after a couple of days I realized this is the fucking thing that's hurting me and also causing me to look like a fucking pizza pie. I fucking hate it. It sucks because I think when I use this product, a mixture of this and the powder, it looks beautiful. I just don't like how it feels. And unfortunately, I'm not that dead inside where I have no feeling. So the fact that I can feel it makes it something that I probably will never, ever, ever repurchase again. And I'm probably just gonna pass this off to somebody because I cannot fuck with it. So yeah, this is a no for me, but keep in mind, I do have super sensitive skin, much like my super sensitive waterline. Now this might work better for you, but if you're a sensitive flower like me, I would steer clear of this. Okay, so did I waste my money? Yes and no. You know, I definitely think the eyeshadow palette and the powder are worth exploring if you had to pick between the two. I think the powder is a little bit better than the eyeshadow palette, considering that this is not really something super unique. But if you can, these two I would say are clear winners. This, I liked how it looked. Don't like how it feels, and the eyeliners are just a big old no for me. So it's a 50-50. I'm happy that I did try these things, and I'm happy that I didn't feel like I wasted my money entirely. Anyway, now I want to hear from y'all. Let me know down below if you have anything from this collection or if you want to pick anything up. If so, let me know because I love hearing from you. And again, thank you so much to Blissy for sponsoring today's video. And with that said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button, it's free, and hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. To all my beautiful, wonderful patron bubbies, thank you so much for keeping this delicious, disgusting, filthy, trashy, really gross, really nasty, really disgusting garbage boat afloat. Couldn't do without you, and I love your adorable little delicious faces. I just want to gobble you all up, and I want you to live in my belly, and we could be one, and it'll be a really super excellent time. If you want to know what is currently on my face, everything will be listed in the description box below, and I'll see you little pumpkins later. Bye!